Tina, you just, and I have to do it because when I see you and I hear you mention the number of years that you've been serving in our legislature, I need you all to know that Tina and I don't arrive here in our own right. Both of us stand on the shoulders of a generation of women who didn't take any shit. I'm talking about Marge Tartaglione. I'm talking about Marion Tasco. I'm talking about Ann Verna, Joan Krajewski, Roxanne Jones. They were a group of women who we got a chance to watch. They fought very hard for what they believed in, and quite frankly, team, I think we are better at it, what we do, because we had them as our example. I want to thank you in the midst of it all. You talk about that election. I'm old-fashioned, and I'm going to talk about this when I talk about Anastasia. But team, you were one of the early supporters, and you have no idea what it's like when you have the least amount of money. When people say, you know what they say, Aaron Platt, she'll never run because she can't afford to. It's one of the reasons why I'm here to talk about this lady. I'm a single working mom, and they just didn't think we had the ability to win, but we cobbled together. I'm talking about when you have to work and earn, a coalition of people who shared our belief in the vision. And I thank you for believing in me before it was a popular thing to do. Please give Senator Tartaglione. Jonathan Seidel, I love you. I will always love you, Jonathan. Jonathan, that era, and I've got to go back when I start talking about the men. Jonathan, I've got to mention David Cohen and Ed Rendell, who invested in me very, very early in my career. But Jonathan was one of the, Philadelphia is a territorial place, and they have all of these, antiquated, outdated, generational political warfare and camps like the West Philly versus the Northwest versus the North Philly. And Jonathan, you were the first person I saw in politics who was welcomed in any room, in any camp, by any constituency, because people believed in Jonathan's word. I know that sounds old-fashioned, right? Your word. How about meeting people in politics and government who do exactly what they say they're going to do? Like, that's pretty strange today, right? But you were, and I thank you for the example that you set. Give him a round of applause, please. And before I get to my friend, Leroy Howe, I gotta say hello. I love you, Leroy, mighty 50th Ward. That Northwest team that I learned so much from, neighborhood I grew up in. It's good to see you. I think he is, aside from being my friend, he's one of the smartest people in the whole wide world, because if you see how Bill Ryan looks with my friend Anastasia standing next to him, you know how smart he is. But I met Bill. Bill has known me since I was a teenage intern in the office of Councilwoman Marion Tasco. He was our longtime chief connector. You heard Jonathan mention Einstein Hospital. So any and everything Einstein for us, I didn't have to worry about how we were going to get something done. Einstein, if you remember, was the largest employer in the 9th Councilmanic District that we served, and he was the person that we called. You were a great supporter to me when Tasco and Dwight kicked me out. I said, I can wait till Tasco retires to run for council. This is what I know. This is where I've been. And Team Dwight said, no, you're going to Harrisburg to learn how to be a legislator. And I said, who the hell wants to go there? Team, it was the best learning experience and professional development I could have had. I appreciate you, Bill, and in your friendship. I appreciate your work. When I describe you to people, and I want to say this intentionally, because you can't say this about a whole lot of people, and I feel it now as the mayor, because you get accustomed to the whispers, and at the same time people are whispering and smiling, they're trying to cut your throat at the same time. It's it's really, really good to have someone that you don't mind being in a foxhole with. That's the kind of compliment that you want people to say about you, because that's when you judge people when they are at their finest, right? When things aren't perfect and they aren't good, who stands by you? And you've been with me and by my side through ups and downs. Give my friend Bill Ryan a round of applause.
Yeah.
Anastasia, I was the chair of the Delaware River Port Authority, but I still didn't know where Shamong was. I had to figure it out. I talked to, some of you may know one of my very, very good friends. He was my chief teacher at the DRPA, Jeff Nash. So I talked to my South Jersey friends, and we talked about this committee. And I said, you have to tell me, like, about the framing team, how many members? They said, 5. I said, well, it's South Jersey, so, how many D's and how many R's? And they said 5-0. I said, 5 Democrats in it? They said, no, 5 Republicans. And I started thinking about the elements of you, and I started thinking about this time that we are in. You just heard Senator Tartaglione mention that we are trained, if you've been in the Pennsylvania General Assembly, to work on both sides of the aisle, especially when you don't have the great fortune to be working in the majority. If you want to get anything done, you have to have the ability to work across the aisle. But in this environment that we are in right now, people have made it so not in vogue to be able to have even a conversation with someone who's not exactly like you. Team, I want you to think about every difference that you can imagine. I want you to think about race, class, socioeconomic status, zip code, religion, sexual orientation or identity. People seem to thrive and feel stronger when they can sort of point out differences, and this is what we do. For me, it begins like, it sounds like clanging cymbals, right? Because it's like noise. And I will never believe that the people, the public that we serve, that's what they really want. It's what they're getting right now. It's what they are accustomed to. But when they think about you, Anastasia, they got to know who you are. I want you to tell them about your being a single working mom, 2 girls. I want you to talk to them about your being a caretaker. And for any of you who's ever cared for a senior in your life, it's one of the most challenging but rewarding opportunities and responsibilities that you can have. But I will tell you, it tests who you are. So I want you to imagine being that caretaker, being a single working mother, and finding a way at the same time to be actively engaged in civic activities. I think about your health care advocacy. I don't know, who was I talking to? Someone mentioned some challenges in that region as it related to EMS, right? And how do you work through that? But then I said, well, what will happen and how will she get elected if there's 5 Republicans? And I don't think it's been a Democrat. Is it right? They told me 20 years. Is that really true? Yeah. So, I'm here tonight, okay? Because I want to encourage you during this very challenging time to dig deep within yourself. And every time, because someone's going to do it in the midst of this race, they're going to try to just make it about partisan politics, and they will. But when I was in Harrisburg and I was in the minority, and we needed some big ticket items here in Philadelphia, if I focused on partisan politics, I couldn't get anything done. So instead, I decided to figure out what could we agree on. It's like the vision for Philadelphia. We want it safe, we want it clean, we want it green, we want economic opportunity for all. So when you think about the constituency in Shamong, I believe that your experience, the work that you've already done in your own right, in the areas that are of importance to that constituency, if you stay laser focused on those things and they get an opportunity to experience what we know. Now, this is the only thing I was a little frustrated about. You know, I know you're there in Chemung and, you know, what's that, Burlington, right? Burlington, you know, but I claim you, right? Like, you know, Philly, right? So I'm like, okay, you really wanted to win, and now maybe you're not going to see her that much in Philadelphia. You tell them they got to share you. They have to share you with us. But I'm here because I believe in you. I believe you have the stick-to-itiveness, the foresight, and probably what's also most important. Oh gosh, I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I'm trying to be diplomatic, gentlemen. You're going to do your homework. The people want to know that you've studied, that you know their issues, that you've done your research and you've done it from the ground up, and that you're not an expert AOP. I don't know about you. I mean, they're all in Philadelphia, right? But actually, President Barack Obama, he's on social media. He explains this very, very, very well. He says, I meet a whole lot of people who are excellent at describing problems. They're like brilliant at sort of, you know, disaggregating in the layers of a problem. And he said, okay, great. You did a really good job explaining the problem, but okay, now we're solution oriented. So how are you going to fix whatever it is that we are trying to address? That's what I know you are going to do. You've done it in your real life. Nothing can surpass the power of your real life lived experience. Don't let anybody try to reduce it. Don't let anybody try to tell you that you don't belong, you know, at that table or to have a seat at that table, because the table has been comprised of people who were specifically like this for this many years. The people will appreciate the fresh lens that you bring along with that experience to make the most informed decisions that you possibly can by having the best subject matter experts around you and bringing you along in the process. So I'm here to tell you that I support you. I'm grateful to have your friendship. When you hear me mention to each and every one of you that I've enjoyed Bill's support is wonderful, but Anastasia's been a Sherelle Parker supporter as well. So if you need me to come across that bridge, okay, a phone call, you just tell them what he says. Well, who you calling? Jonathan, the Philly Connect, okay? And I'm coming over to help you. It's an honor and a privilege to stand here in support of you. I hope we can have many more courageous women who are not afraid to step up to the challenge to do what someone like you has never done there before. It takes a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put your hands together for the lady of the hour, who we are going to elect as the first Democrat in 20 years to be on that committee in Chemung. Give it up for Ennis.
You go ahead.
Woo! All right, well, you could hear me too, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Parker, for your kind words and your generous support. When we launched this campaign, one of the very first online donations was received from Mayor Parker, and I will be forever grateful for that. I would also like to thank Senator Tartaglione. Over the years, Tina has become an intricate part of our family member, and witnessing her championing the rights of those with physical challenges has been extremely inspirational. Thank you. I am also honored that Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, the Democratic nominee for governor of my birth state, the great birth state, New Jersey, okay, took the time to make a video for our campaign. I had the privilege of meeting Representative Sherrill in 2017 at an event in Essex County when she launched her campaign for Congress. And nearly 10 years later, she is now running for governor of New Jersey and will be fighting as that nominee for governor. So that's very, very also heartfelt. I have been inspired by witnessing strong women, leaders such as Mayor Parker, Senator Tartaglione, and soon-to-be Governor Mikey Sherrill. Another inspiration is our dear friend, the Honorable Maria McLaughlin. Since she is a Superior Court Justice, Maria could not be with us today. However, I would like to thank Mr. McLaughlin. Jonathan Seidel, for your friendship, love, and support, and you both know you're a part of our family too, so thank you. Thank you to Kathy Bruder, Bill Ryan, and the entire team here at Saxton and Stump for their support and hospitality. Last week, I was honored to be endorsed by the Burlington County Central Labor Council. As a member of our township committee, I plan on creating an economic development council, and I will see to it that labor has a seat at that table. Which is why I am honored that IBEW 269, the Eastern Regional Carpenters, and DC 21, the Painters and Glazers Unions, have been such strong supporters of our campaign. For too long, our township has been run as a private club, and if you're not part of the family, apparently, you need not apply. It has been 20 years since a Democrat has served on the Chemung Committee. And it took 20 years for a female to have a seat on committee. I entered this race in part due to the inspiration of so many women leaders. In Chemung, 53% of the population is female, and yet we are only represented by 20% on the township committee. This election, we will change that when we win. For openness and transparency. About a month ago, our township committee went behind closed doors and without any notice to the residents of multiple towns, they terminated our rescue, ambulance, and EMS services. To make things worse, they have no plan on how they plan to replace these services. And right now, they still don't have a plan. I have been the only one that has been calling for public discussion on this issue. And clearly now more than ever, having a voice that speaks truth to power is necessary in Chemung. This is why I am so honored to receive the support of the strong, passionate, and fierce female leaders joining us here today. I have a very fond memory of your race. So during the mayor's race here in Philadelphia, I was in attendance for many of those debates, which are very memorable. And I will always remember Sherrill's famous line, "Don't tell me what you are going to do, show me what you have done." I have taken that message to heart, Madam Mayor, and with your support, we will be able to double the female representation of the township committee and give a voice throughout all of the neighborhoods in Chemung. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am grateful for your support. Together, we will all win. And come November, we will bring the type of leadership that Chemung deserves. That consists of openness, transparency, and most importantly, integrity. So thank you all.
Yeah.